One of my single greatest heroes in history and literature, if I had to point to a single person who inspires me, it would be Booker T. Washington. He was one of the most talented and amazing rhetoricians who ever lived. He was able to go to the Atlanta Expo in post-Civil War South, and, mostly this is being put on by the former plantation owners to kind of say, hey, we've made it, we've managed to recover mostly, look at how advanced we are down here, which is admirable to say that you've recovered from a war, but, there's a fair amount of Southern pride involved, and, Booker T. Washington, who is a black man, is going to speak at this, and so a lot of the population of the former plantation owners are expecting him to turf it and to demonstrate how faulty his education system is. And then a huge number of the audience are former slaves, and they are expecting, him, their champion, to put down the former slave owners and side with them. And so it's an incredibly polarized environment. And he goes up and he speaks, and he gets both of them to cheer at the same time. And that to me is amazing. His ability to heal a polarized environment is incredible. In addition to that, he's writing an autobiography in his book, which is one of the books that I try to reread almost every year. And it's called Up From Slavery. And it is an incredible book about his founding of the Tuskegee Institute. And when he's talking about that experience, it would be so easy to make it a kind of a victim trauma narrative. A narrative filled with, and this is all the ways that it was horrible, or it would be so easy to make a narrative like that fuel for the fire of the polarization that he was living in. But that's not what he does. He is constantly showing the way forward, showing that things are actually improving, that this is the way forward, and his prescriptions for how to improve it are fantastic. One of the problems that he was dealing with was a lack of resources, so he became one of the master fundraisers on the planet without ever really asking for money. He would just talk about the work that they were doing and get people so inspired about what he was doing that they'd start cutting checks left and right. But the thing that really excites me about his style of education, his philosophy there, is how he was interested in setting a baseline, earning respect through excellence, through the kind of excellence that you can't really deny, like a job well done. He talked about elevating the trades. In that way, he's a little bit like Mike Rowe, America's Dirty Jobs guy, talking about how you could elevate these things, and that true liberty and true excellence were not to be found necessarily in studying French grammar and becoming, super erudite, but in competence, and then erudition thereafterwards. It's a order of operations, not so much a prescription that says French grammar is never appropriate. And I find that to be deeply, deeply inspiring. This idea that you work with your hands first. You train your hands to be excellent. You train your head to be excellent. You make sure that you have a trade to fall back on. That education of the mind is good, but you need to make sure that you can, if you're going to elevate someone's wants, you need to be able to elevate their means for meeting those wants as well. And that I find amazing. So in a nutshell, I find his moral character, I've read his moral aphorisms, and he gave a bunch of speeches, the devotionals that they gave on campus, and collected those into a separate book. And I've read that one as well, and I loved it. I think it's on character building. It's in the small and simple things that you build character and excellence. He talks about toothbrushing, which I could take a lesson or two from. But it's very similar to, that video that's been circulating the internet where the general talks about if you make your bed in the morning, then that sets you on a trajectory to get things right. It's that philosophy just done humbly and with excellence. And I see so much virtue there. Anyway, I highly recommend his book. It's called Up from Slavery, and it details his background, starting from being a slave in his extreme youth, the son of the plantation cook, and about the struggles that he had there, but without bitterness, without adding fuel to the fire, and then about his rise up from slavery to receiving a world-class education, and then his rise from there to sharing that world-class education together with his own philosophy to thousands of others, and lifting the post-war South. I mean, he's a hero. If you're interested in the book, I will leave an Amazon affiliate link and also a regular link down below. Both of them will offer you the book for exactly the same price. One of them just supports us as well. Amazon will give us a small cut. As always, I thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe below, and we'll see you next time.